Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Today, we are looking into the 2000 murder of the Mochries family. I still remember the summer of the year 2000. Bury, South Wales, a town of terraced houses and seaside charm, the kind of place where families looked picture perfect from the outside. But behind one front door, something horrific was unfolding. Something that would leave the entire country in shock. I was working as a reporter at a national newspaper. I don't recall exactly how we got the story, but when the news broke, it was clear this wasn't just another crime. We sent a photographer down straight away. Came back with pictures of a quiet street, neat gardens, a row of houses painted in pastel shades. Nothing about the scene hinted at what had happened there. It's how the story unfolded. On July 2000, neighbors knew the Mochries as a loving, happy family. Robert and Catherine and their 4 children, James, 18, 16, Luke, 14, and Bethan, just 10 years old. Catherine was a devoted mother, a university graduate, proud to be building a better life for her children. There's a photograph that still circulates. Catherine in her graduation gown, smiling with her family around her. To anyone who saw it, they looked perfect. But behind closed doors, Robert Mochrie was struggling. He had a history of depression, was withdrawn, battling demons that no one around him fully understood. And then suddenly, he snapped. On that summer night, Robert took a weapon, a hammer. When one by one he murdered his entire family in their own home. Catherine, his wife, James and Luke, his sons, Sian and Bethan, his daughters. The details are almost unbearable to think of those children, sleeping, dreaming, and then waking to something they couldn't escape. And then, after killing the people closest to him, Robert took his own life. By morning, 6 members of the same family lay dead. The news hit Bury like a bombshell. Police tape sealed off the Mochries' home, and neighbors watched in disbelief as officers carried out the investigation. How could this happen here? How could a man murder the people he was meant to love and protect above all else? Detectives described the scene as one of the worst they had ever witnessed. No sign of warning, no hint to the outside world. From the street, it had looked like any other family home, beside a house of horror. At the inquest, the truth began to emerge. Robert had been battling deep depression. Friends and neighbors said they hadn't realized how severe his condition was. Catherine, meanwhile, had been thriving. Her graduation photo now taking on an almost haunting significance. A mother so full of pride, standing alongside the very children who would soon be taken from her. The tragedy was labeled a familicide, a father killing his entire family before himself. And while criminologists and doctors debated the reasons, the town of Bury was left with grief and silence. The Mochrie murders weren't just a crime. They were a loss that rippled far beyond that one terraced house. Schools lost children, friends lost companions. Grandparents lost an entire generation in one night. To this day, people still struggle to make sense of it. Some say Robert was a man crushed under the weight of his illness. Others see him only as a killer who destroyed everything he was supposed to protect. But one thing is certain. The Mochrie family, Catherine, James, Sian, Luke, and Bethan, are remembered not for how they died, but for the love and promise of the lives they should have lived. Every time I think of this case, I come back to that graduation photo. Smiles frozen in time, a proud mother, children with their futures ahead of them, a family that seemed whole. And then I remember how quickly everything can shatter, how behind a normal-looking door, darkness can grow, and how one night in July 2000, Bury witnessed one of the worst tragedies in Welsh history. If you want to know more about this case, please do read the articles online. Thank you.